This video is how to use the substitute and bus driver payroll history spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is dual purpose. So on the settings tab, which is what we're looking at here, you have your department to select. In this case, we're looking at one particular school. We can either choose the fiscal year or a date range. In this case, we can put in just a certain number of months to view. I'm going to go change it back to the fiscal year. And then we can either look at substitutes or bus drivers. This would require two separate refreshes to see either bus drivers or substitutes. For our purposes, I am just going to work with the substitutes. And then you would refresh your data. What this will show is the payroll history for our substitutes or bus drivers. Then I'm going to click on the first tab, which is where you would land if you hit your refresh data, on the check history detail. And much like all of our other spreadsheets, we have columns going across the top. We have show hide, subtotaling, and sort features. So we have the site location, that would be your school location, the last name, first name, middle initial, the pay period. In this case, you can choose which pay period it is, the check date, the check number received, the job ID. So in this case, we have just a substitute or a sub who's also a bus driver, the grade, the step, the percent employed, and the fund that the sub is paid out of. And then any payroll information, the gross, the net, the days employed, days paid, and hours paid. The next column, if you hover up here, you can see that that's either daily, hourly, or overtime. So if we click right here, we can see and select or filter and see who are our daily subs. And in the lower left-hand corner, we can notice that that is 892 out of the 928 records are Ds or daily. And then this is the person that they subbed for, which of course can also be filtered on just by typing a certain name. Okay. So that person was who they subbed for, and you can see over here that there were in the column D, two different people were being subbed for. I'm going to hit filters on and off to bring back all of my data. And of course, I could do show and hide up here to look at year and month. At the school level, we cannot see Social Security numbers, but at the finance level, you can if you're Sartox, but not if you're a Link customer. We can do subtotaling and we can do sorting. Right now you can see that we're sorted on name, so that'll be alphabetically by name. We're now going to move to the pivot table, so we can click either here on the blue button, the check history pivot table, or we can also click on check history pivot table down at the bottom. And this, by default, is a report that comes in at the bottom, so we can see our location again, the name, the check date, the full account code, and who that person subbed for, with any reports that we'd like to run at the top. So if we'd like to see our daily subs or our hourly subs, we did have more daily subs in this particular case, so we could see who have we been using the most, and then we can run it either in months or days. I'm going to click OK. And then the report will list out by name the person who has been the most utilized sub listed out here. So that is a very helpful report. Of course, you at the school level may know that already, but that's very helpful, and it's going to do it based on the year. So we had set on the Settings tab the fiscal year, and it's going to do it by how much data we have so far listed. Okay, so we can just go back to our original pivot table view or run any other report. There is helpful information here, always. There's a helpful information tab down here where we can get more information, print that out, or just learn more about what the pivot table can do for you. You can drag and drop columns down here. You can take columns off. For instance, if you didn't want to see the hours paid in this case, I can just drag it off the report. Or the days employed, I can just drag it off the report using my left mouse button. Another tab down at the bottom for the sub and bus driver master list is to the right of the check history pivot table. In this case, we did run it for substitutes, so you'll see that. If you ran on the Settings tab, the bus drivers, this would say bus drivers master list. Now, as you're looking at this list, you may look down this list on your system and go, well, we haven't had this sub at our school in 10 years. Well, that's because of this column AF to the far right. And if that is marked check received this year, yes, then that is an active sub. So you can filter just for the yeses, and those are the subs that you have paid a check to this year. And this will be your current list of subs. That is one way to do it. And then also you can run these two buttons that say show employees that have received a check this year or that have not received a check this year. Those are the two buttons listed there. Or you can just do a manual filter right here. Okay. You will spend time probably on the check history pivot table or the sub or bus driver master list to get your information. And you can see that you could also look up their addresses if you needed that, and phone numbers to match up with perhaps your sub calling that you may have in place. Thank you for watching.